Texas A&M got a win against Tennessee. 68-63 is the final score of that one. Wade Taylor dropped 25. The Aggies are 13-2 in SEC play. Incredible season for them in that conference. Laval, how worried should we be about Tennessee at this point? Because this has now been a string of games where the results, win or losses, have not gone their way, at least not the way it was early in the season.
Certainly. And it's, style of play is a factor, right? They're not, Tennessee or Virginia, like we're talking about Villanova or Wisconsin. They're not going to blow you out most of the time, and they're not going to get blown out most of the time. Just the style of play. It's going to be a grind. It's going to be, a street fight. And the question with Tennessee, when in those games down the stretch, where do they go to get the last few possessions of offense? And so they've lost at the buzzer a couple times where, it's a one possession game. It's going to be a 1 or 2 possession game with Tennessee. If they can manufacture, if they have a mismatch they can go to down the stretch. So tonight, to A&M, it was like that for the majority of the game. And Buzz plays the same way like that. They're not great offensively either, but they play really hard. I mean, really hard and grind you out. So, for Tennessee, it's just that's what it's going to be. It's the next couple games are going to probably look the same way, Greg. A couple possessions, and it could go either way because that's just how they play.
Yeah, I think too. A&M and Jimmy Dykes said it on the broadcast. Is Wade Taylor the best point guard in the SEC? He's got size, he's got feel, he's physical, he's tough. He makes his foul shots when the game's on the line. You look at him and Marble. Marble got fouled 9 times. They get the ball to the paint, but more importantly, Texas A&M gets to the foul line. And that's what's really impressive about them. I try to go back and look at Tennessee's losses here, 5 out of 7, starting with the Florida loss, 5 for 25 from 3. The Vanderbilt loss, they only got to the foul line 3 times. The Missouri loss, that was completely all special situations. They should have never lost that basketball game. Versus Kentucky, they go 4 for 14 from the foul line and 6 for 27 from 3. And at one point in the second half tonight, I think they were shooting 19% from 3. Like, I don't – you look at Ziegler, I just don't like their shot selection on offense. We know Tennessee's always going to be a good defensive team, but I think Coach Barnes has got to take a long look at just some of the shots that they're taking, and especially Ziegler. Like, when he gets in the lane and can get himself to the rim or shoot those floaters – in the paint, he's a tough player to play. But look even at the 3 that he took when they were down 3. It was like what are you doing? You've got a guy that's bigger than you. He's got great length. You dribbled it 8 times and took that shot. The ball never hit the paint. So I think the shot selection, even looking at the numbers over the last 7 games, just from a shooting percentage wise, has been the issue for Tennessee. And I think that's something that they've got to get figured out. There was a clip in the game where Barnes was so upset at Vescovi. He had like this nonchalant turnover, and the kid's coming over to the bench, and Barnes gets so fired up, and he's like, I want to win. And he ends up pulling him out of the game. But I think the shot selection right now for Tennessee has got to improve. If they can do that, they can go on a run here. They can win the SEC tournament. They can go on a run in the NCAA tournament. But for Ziegler to be taking those types of shots, especially late in the game, think about this. He takes that last 3. At that point in the game, he was 2 for 10 from the 3-point line. 2 for 10. So, hey, man, we got to get the ball in the lane. We got to get the ball to the paint. So I think that's the biggest issue for Tennessee right now. But Texas A&M, they're big, they're physical, they defend, they rebound, and they get themselves to the foul line. That is a recipe to win a lot of basketball games.
Yeah, that's not a team that I would want to see in my team's region in the NCAA tournament for sure. We spent a lot of time earlier this year on this network really worrying about a certain SEC team's offense. That would be Kentucky. Maybe we were worried about the wrong SEC team's offense, gentlemen. I don't know. It's hit a wall here, Matt, like you said.
And here's the thing. We talked about teams you would not want to see in the tournament. Okay. Exactly. Arkansas tonight beats Georgia 97-65. Nick Smith Jr., he's back, ladies and gentlemen. He had 26 in that game. Nobody wants to see the Razorbacks in a tournament setting. I can promise you that, especially if Nick Smith Jr. is going to do that. They're going to get healthy. and he's going to be back out there playing.
14 shots, Matt. 26 on
Do
14
not
shots.
count out Pig Suey. Do not count him out.
The thing that they were switching, didn't they? I mean, Georgia couldn't breathe on the other end of the floor. It's like there's length, there's athleticism, they're switching everything, and there's nowhere to go. Certainly, but I'm with you on Tennessee's offense. I mean, because they're going to play they played a 63 possession game tonight. You can't take 5 bad shots. Those are so if you got, I don't know what they have turnover wise, but if you have 8 turnovers and 5, 6 bad shots, terrible possessions, I mean it's just as bad. So the way that they play, you have to have really good shot selection.
No question.
How about this for a number, you guys? I'm firing off stats and numbers and metrics at you tonight, but this either speaks to how great Tennessee's defense is, how much the offense has struggled, or maybe both. There's been 11 Tennessee games this year where their opponent has scored 60 points or more. Only 11 games in 28 games. They're 3-8 in those 11 games. I mean, at some point, you're going to run up against some of the best offenses in the country. No matter how good that defense is, there's going to be teams hitting 60 against them week in, week out in the NCAA tournament. Their offense is going to have to find a way to hold some weight. And somewhere, Mama Hog tonight is smiling because her Razorbacks got a mention and an endorsement from Matt McCall and Laval Jordan. We love that here at the Field of 68.